Now that I've showed you the proper way to sharpen your cleaver, there is one other tool that you can use, which is the sharpening steel, which you see here. And that is just to merely touch the blade up in between uses. And that is merely done by using that same angle concept, once on this side of the steel, once on the other side of the steel. And you can do it a couple of times, alternating on each side. Be sure you keep your hand with holding this steel all the far away from the cleaver itself. And as you get better at this, you can see that I'm doing it rather quickly. This touches up the blade. Now let's go into the actual preparation of the vegetables. This is a simple paring knife that is used in Chinese restaurants and American restaurants. And what we're going to do is we're going to peel this onion. Anytime you use your knife, you want to keep your left hand away from the right hand. As you see what I'm doing right now, I put my point of the knife in here and I'm turning. Take this part of the onion off. I turn it over. Spin the onion, taking the other part off. Make one slice down the side of the onion and take this first layer off of the onion. Simple way to peel the onion. Now I'm going to demonstrate how to prepare these vegetables that I have sitting out here. The onion, if you want to dice the onion, simply slice it in half. Now, whenever you use the knife, you've seen you want to keep your fingers together, and you'll see some professionals, they use their knuckle as a guide when they're slicing. Some people use one finger as the guide. The important thing is to keep your fingers away from the sharp part of the knife, because this hand, if you're going to cut yourself, this hand is going to cut this hand. So you want to be careful and use your fingers as a guide. Now this is the way that I dice my onion, using one finger as a guide. Make cuts down, not cutting this back part here. Spin the onion around, make the dice cuts. And you finish it up by cutting the part you didn't cut, turning it over, and cutting it. Simply like this. You may see some people do things faster by chopping the onion. Like that. Either way, there's your onion. And you use your cleaver in many different ways. You can use it almost like a ladle or a shovel to hold your hand here, pick up your onion, and put it on the plate. Okay, next let's do the broccoli. This is one bunch of broccoli. You want to cut the broccoli here. So what you have here is like the broccoli florets, like you see sometimes in your supermarket. And then instead of wasting the stalk, you will cut the stalk 4 times. Once here, always keeping your fingers together and your knuckle as a guide. Never bring the knife up higher than your knuckle. This is the experience part. When you're learning how to use the knife, start slowly. That's the way you cut the broccoli to begin with. Cut it off. You can set these aside for later. 1, 2, 3, and 4. This gets discarded. Ready? 1, 2, 3, and 4. The last one. Right now you're left with just the 4 florets and the stems that you've trimmed. So in order to make this into something that you can stir fry for beef and broccoli, you just separate it, spin it, and cut it here. Spin it and cut it. And as you're done, scoop it up and you can put it on your plate. One of the keys to Chinese cooking is the preparation takes 90% of the time. The stir frying process is the fast part. So, but learning the skills to use the cleaver is very important. stems, simply cut like this. Slice them at an angle. You can also chop them. As your skills get better. But first, start slowly. Next, I'll show you the carrot. How to do the carrot. The carrot is a harder vegetable and it's harder to slice. But if you want to add color to your dishes, or if you want to make stir-fried noodles such as lo mein or the Chinese rice noodles, you want to cut it very thin and on an angle like this. And the same thing holds true for the carrot. You want to start slowly and then group your slices together and hold them down. And then the same thing, use your fingers, hold your fingers together using your knuckle as a guide and slicing like this, like so. That gives you the julienne carrots, and again, as you get better, you can chop it. There we have the julienne carrots. Now, this is a piece of cabbage that I've used previously, but I just wanted to show you how you can pair this with your carrots, and also the onion if you slice it thin the same way, and you have 3 vegetables in order to use for a stir fry. So to cut the cabbage, almost like shredding it for coleslaw, you do the same thing. And this, you see how it comes out? Again, you can use that in a stir fry. And again, as your skills improve, you can chop the carrot. When you get to the end, you want to slow down and finish it off by slicing it. So now that I've demonstrated the proper way to use your cleaver to cut vegetables on a variety of different cuts. As you can see, I have the items that we just prepared. We just sliced up and chopped up on the chopping board. We have the dice cut onions here. We have the julienne or thin sliced carrots and cabbage here. And we have the broccoli cut up for stir fry on this plate here. And also, sometimes if you want to make beef and broccoli, you might want to add a little bit of color to the dish. You would put some of the julienne carrots with the broccoli in your stir fry. So that was the first lesson on how to prepare vegetables and use your knife. The important thing to remember always is when you're slicing, keep your fingers curled up, use your knuckle as a guide for the knife. Never bring the knife higher than your knuckle or you'll cut yourself. So you have to be careful when you first learn this process. And then as you get faster, use that same slicing process to cut whether it's meat or vegetables. And the other thing was sharpening the knife. Holding it flat and tilting it up slightly on both sides. Turning it over, holding it flat, turning it up slightly until there's no gap between the tip of the blade and the stone. This way you can keep your knife sharp, and you slowly learn how to use your Chinese cleaver to cut vegetables. In another lesson, we'll go through how to use your cleaver to slice meat, and then we'll move on from there.